r/AskReddit. What is something you know but you're not supposed to know? One of my aunts was a hoe back in the day, and her youngest daughter doesn't have the same dad as the rest of her kids. The father demanded a paternity test when she was young, but my mom ultimately brought him down and told him that he's the only father she knows. Nobody in the family knows that I know. Nobody else in the family besides my aunt and I know. My aunt doesn't know that I know. It's none of my business, but I hope one day my aunt will tell her daughter the truth. My sister doesn't know she was adopted and that I was two with her, and that we have 3 older brothers whom my adoptive mother kept secret from my Facebook account because she was worried they'd try to take me and my sister away from her. I love my fam very much and I barely remember that my older 3 siblings exist sometimes, but I also have a lot of memories of being abused and stuff from before I was adopted, and nobody really knows that I remember any of it because I was 3 to 4 years old at the time. My sister is actually my half-sister, and that my father had raped her when she was younger than 8, twice. Found out on the local news about my father doing that. Asked my mother about it later that night. She was crying as she told me she didn't even know that it happened until my sister had said something. Now, my sister was 14 when this happened. Apparently, she got an STD from it. Told me not to tell my sister that I know. My boss is being pushed out of the company. I'm in line to take her spot. She fought hard for me to be on the team, and the higher-ups sat me down and told me to my face she was gonna try to fire me, which is absolutely not true. She has a kid in the hospital and another with OCD. They're firing her because she won't ever work overtime because she's gotta take care of M. I wanna tell her so she can lodge a case, but I also wanna keep my head down. Phew, all this. I went snooping in my stepdad's desktop when he and my mum were still together, because I was a nosy ass child, and found a shat ton of pictures sexualizing pregnant women. Some looked to be from porn sites that were intentional of the women as they posed naked and looked at the camera, etc., but some also looked to be straight up taken from people's Facebook accounts. That shat is why I'm never posting pregnant pictures online, nor letting my sisters or so either. When my dad walked out on us, my mom was looking through the stuff he left behind, and saw that he was hiding some things. They were both cheating on each other. For one, I found that out the hard way by accidentally looking at an email I wasn't supposed to, and my father apparently collected some questionable porn. Of the animal variety. Boy, it was hard to look at him when I saw him later in the year. I don't know what happened to him except that he married his mistress. My friend suspected that his daughter was not actually his, as him and his girlfriend broke up for a month and she got pregnant around the time they got back together. He secretly got a paternity test done. And in fact found out he is not the father but had already been raising her for 2 years and married his lady. He never told his wife that he got the test done, but he told me. His daughter is now 7 and they are still happily married. My former childhood friend and daughter of my family's landlord is a drug addict and alcoholic. The landlord wants her to be my roommate so that my good behavior can rub off on her. It's either that, or my whole family gets evicted. Wasn't supposed to know that until she comes in a few months for a surprise prolonged sleepover like the good old days. My mother gave me notice so that I could hide my things of value so that my new roommate won't pawn them and use the money for drugs. My mum has been cheating on her second husband for 10 years. My biological dad and her split when I was 10, and she remarried not too long after. We were on a road trip one day when she just blurted out she had been cheating on my stepfather for years. She only married him to make the man she was seeing jealous. To make it worse, this guy has a wife too. She begged me not to tell my stepdad and I haven't, but damn, do I feel guilty when I see him now. My sister was raped during college. She told my family about it during my junior year of high school, during which I was at a boarding school in another state. They never mentioned it to me until Thanksgiving my sophomore year of college, when my other sister, my mom, and I were discussing the fact that we have a sexual abuser as a president, and they said it was hard on her because of her own rape. I had no clue about it. I don't know if I'm supposed to know. I don't know if she'll ever tell me. For Christmas my stepmom bought my dad a pretty cool custom sports jersey with the number 04. When my fiancé asked her what the number stood for, her reply was, to represent our family, my 2 daughters, him and myself, completely leaving me out of the equation. Edit, thanks for the platinum. The support from all of you is great to hear, you're all great human beings. Never expected to get support like this from strangers on the internet. I saw someone's mugshot I wasn't supposed to see. I know what they don't want me to do. Granted, I chose to be with them anyway after they only gave me a vague explanation and that it was a false accusation. But they have no idea I saw it, and that my mother, who looks for the worst in people, found it too. I wasn't even supposed to know they used to be a cop. Oops. I never have told anyone, and this is a genuinely good person, but my God, be careful when you're snooping. Lol. I have an aunt with Down syndrome, and because of that she lives with my grandparents. While my entire family thinks she is treated like a queen, in reality she has been treated like shat by my grandparents for years. They shout at her, they insult her right in the face, they are sick of her. I found out when I lived with my grandparents for a bit, and I could hear everything they said to her when I was at my room late at night, and they think I could not hear them. My dad gave me his phone to use his GPS. I found out that he took his girlfriend, 20 years younger, who he was cheating on my mom with, and her 4, 5 young kids to a resort in Florida. He never took my family on vacation once. I'm 19 and have never been on a plane, much less had a vacation, and I'm putting myself through college since my mom can't help and he won't. He told me he went to Florida to visit his friend, and I let him think I don't know any better. That my mom had an abortion when I was a teenager. She had me at 18, my whole life I wanted a younger sibling. Used to ask Santa for a brother or sister every Christmas. I read a letter she had written to a friend about how she was told by her doctor she should not had this baby. Broke my heart. I have never said anything to them that I know. I am sure she is as sad about having an abortion as I am about having mine. They don't know about mine. My mother's biological father is not my grandpa Al, but my grandmother's second husband. That man is also the man who molested me as a kid. Found out when my mother needed a liver transplant. The whole family got tested. I was the only one who noticed that the blood types didn't match the way they should. Nobody matched her for a liver, but she's still alive. Not that I have contact with her, kinda hard to want to spend time around someone like her. One of my professors is getting a divorce, and their soon-to-be ex-wife handed them the papers a few days around their birthday. In more department news, our department chair is predicted to step down due to lots of emotional trauma from this year. One of the 2 professors vying for the position may be fired if they get another strike against them. I'm not sure why they have strikes or how they got them, my source didn't know, and their source wouldn't say. I have 2 uncles I've never met. My grandmother had them young and out of wedlock and gave them away. One of whom is a fully blood uncle. My dad accidentally found this out while researching his family tree. His mother didn't mind him knowing. He told his 2 older brothers and they didn't take the news well, so they chose never to tell my youngest uncle. It feels weird knowing something my uncle has no idea about. They're his brothers, after all. I used to work for the Her Majesty's Passport Office in the UK and headed up a team in the overseas department. I usually dealt with fairly banal applications from expats, but I did have to sign the Official Secrets Act because, every so often, we'd get extremely expedited applications for service personnel who were operating behind enemy lines, or for individuals who were covertly granted asylum in return for intelligence. Some of the details involved in those cases were crazy. When I was engaged, I was thinking of wearing my mom's wedding dress, so we were looking through her box of wedding stuff. Found a brochure about adoption. I had already suspected she was pregnant with my brother when she and my dad got married, but I had no idea she had looked at different options. It really hit hard to think I might not have my big brother. The brochure was in the middle of a bunch of old invitations, so she didn't realize I saw it. Oh, and an actual one. When I was involved in tax court once over an employer accidentally submitting my W-2 twice for 1 year, the prosecuting IRS tax attorney person sent me the wrong case file to view my information. Instead of a simple $900 matter for a part-time job, it was literally all the financial information and personal information for a guy on the hook for tax fraud related to a multiple $1 million amount. But hey, I won my case. Thanks for watching this auto-generated video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I upload videos like this one daily. I put a lot of time into developing this video generator, but if there have been errors, please tell me in the comments below. Also leave me a link to another thread you would like to see a video about. Have a great day, Alex.